Welcome to BBCN, Black Business Community Network. We're dedicated to breaking down systemic barriers and fostering sustainable development for the Black community and businesses in the UK. Join us as we empower, educate, and advocate for a thriving future. Subscribe to stay updated on our initiatives and learn how you can make a difference with us. Together, we can build a more inclusive and resilient future.
Thank you for joining in. You're welcome to the Black Community Network launch. You're welcome. Thank you for showing up at today's event. Now, how many of you agree with me when we say the Black people are some of the underrepresented people within the UK, right? Today, we'll be looking at numbers. Research has been done. We're coming to you with data, with facts. And beyond all that has happened in the past, we're looking out for a way forward, right? What's next? What's the future of the underrepresented community, right? How can we scale? How can we grow? How can we find our footing, right? I've met a couple of people, and they're asking these questions, right? I'm new in the community. I'm new in the country. What can I do? What's the way forward, right? There are lots of opportunities out there that some persons are not aware of. How do you assess this opportunity? Today, we'll show you that Black Business Community Network is there to provide you with all the resource you need. Let me not run ahead of myself and put the cart before the horse, right? Lots of value we dished out in today's session. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you once again. We will get started, and I'll be inviting upstage one of the project lead for Black Business Community Network, right, to give us idea about what's happening today, right? If you've been seeing teasers on Instagram, teasers on our social media platform, you might have been getting some glimpse as to what's going on. What are we doing, right? What's the expectation like? All right. So we're digging deep into all that you've seen on social media and providing more information as to what the Black business community is all about. We're sharing with you our mission, our why are we doing this, right? What's the reason behind all of this? Without further ado, I'd like to welcome upstage Mr. Michael Ejim as he leads us into today's session. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Judge. Thanks so much. Thanks. I want to use this privilege to, congratulate everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and members of the Black community. I just want to welcome you. Thank you for taking out from your busy schedule to honor our events this morning to launch the Black Business and Community Network. Today, I stand before you to shed the light on the critical issues that have prompted the creation of this network, and which is particularly focusing on the challenges faced by Black community in the areas of housing, household, workforce, employment, entrepreneurship, business, education, and health. So I'll begin by speaking on the household income and what's the research or what's the data talking about the challenges and the crises faced by Black people in household and household income. So let's begin by addressing the reality of household and household income. So Black individuals face higher percentage of household in persistent low income compared to other ethnic groups. We could see that the research shows 27% of Black people have the highest percentage of households in persistent low income areas. Up to 44% of Black Africans are more likely to rent social housing compared to other ethnic groups. And also the research have seen that 15% of Black households operate on persistent low income, which is the second highest percentage among all ethnic groups. When we look at workforce and employment, so looking at workforce and employment, we can see that despite having qualifications, Black ethnic groups face the highest employment rate with 7% compared to 3% of their white counterparts. And this disparity continues as Black workers with degree earns about 23% less than their white counterpart. And further, this concentration of Black individuals in the most deprived parts of the countries is much alarming. And we could see from the research here, 19.6% of Black population reside in such areas, which have the highest of any racial group. And that's the reason why the Black Business and Community Network has been established. Let's look at the areas of entrepreneurship, that's business. Looking at the areas of entrepreneurship, we can see that there are systemic factors that has led to great disparity in business outcome within the Black community. We can see systemic disadvantage has been a key player in shaping this disparity. And it's our responsibility to acknowledge and rectify these imbalances that has harbored the Black community. So one glaring aspect of this issue is a significant gap in the business turnover between Black business owners and their white counterparts. From Financial Times reports, we can see that after starting a Black business owners report a median turnover of about 25,000 pounds per annum, which is more than a third less than 35,000 pounds reported by other ethnic groups. And this contrast not only reflects the economic disparity, but also point to the systemic challenges that has hindered the growth and success of Black-owned business. And one other alarming statistic is the profitability of Black-owned business. It concerning to the 8% of Black business owners fail to make a profit from the research here, compared to 16% of white business owners facing similar situations. We can see that this discrepancy not only affects the economic stability of the businesses, but also raises questions about the support and the resource available to Black entrepreneurs. We can see fewer Black business owners are able to meet their business aspirations. And we can see the report only shows only 30% of Black entrepreneurs report meeting their financial aims, and just half, that's 49%, meet their non-financial aims. This stands in contrast to white business owners, where more than half, which is 54%, report meeting their financial aim, and significant 69% meet their non-financial aims. So the disparity are not just merely statistics. They represent real challenges faced by Black entrepreneurs every day. So the Black Business Community Network recognizes this urgency of addressing these issues and is committing to providing the support, resources, opportunities necessary to create a leveling field or a leveling ground for the Black community. So let's look at the area of education. So research from education have shown that there is noticeable underrepresentation of Black workforce in higher institutions. And this is impacting the trajectory of Black students. And this can also influence, the exploration of placement and apprenticeship, within the Black community students. So it has hindered their career, and this has hindered their career advancement as well. I'll quickly look at health, the area of health as well. So we're just presenting the statistics just to show you the facts, the reason why, BBCN, which is Black Business and Community Network, has been established. The reason why we are setting this was just putting out the data out there. These are real data. These are not imaginary data. These are statistics from Office for National Statistics, the New York Times, UK, financial reports, time reports. So from healthcare, we can see that in the health sector, the impact of systemic issues is undeniable. We can see that Black males and females have experienced significant high rates of death involving, COVID-19 compared to their white counterpart. So the survey has revealed a distressing reality where 65% of Black people report experiencing prejudice from healthcare professionals, rising to 75% among those aged 18 to 34. As we delve into these profound challenges, the Black Business Community Network stands as a beacon of hope, aiming to address these issues at their core. So we foster the empowerment, promoting diversity in corporate organization, and creating avenues for education and professional growth. So BBCN here, we strive to dismantle these barriers that has held the Black community back for far too long. So in summary, I've been able to put out the data out there to show, the disparity within Black community in respect to household and household income, workforce, employment, entrepreneurship, education, and healthcare. These are the disparity within the UK community and the Black community. The Black are facing the UK community. So these are the details out there. And I'll hand over now to the host who is inviting, one of our personnel to speak on, to give us a vision, the mission on why Black business has been set up to tackle these challenges, this very eminent crisis that the Blacks are facing within the UK community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Michael. Thank you very much for highlighting all of the systemic problems we face in the United Kingdom. I believe you looked at those data, they're staggering, right? If you've got questions, do well to ask in the comments, or I will take them just right after I invite Mr. Steve as it comes on to tell us about the Black business community and their plan to address some of the systemic issues that have been improperly captured by data. Mr. Steve, the floor is yours. Please, a round of applause as we welcome Mr. Steve.
Thank you very much, George, and thank you to all who is taking time to attend this soft launch event with the Black Business Community Network today. Isn't it obvious that Black people in the United Kingdom are disproportionately affected? Isn't it obvious? I mean, in terms of research, innovation, in terms of education, in terms of businesses, in terms of access to healthcare, isn't it obvious that there's benchmarking? Isn't it obvious that there's bias and unbiased racism? Isn't it obvious that Black people are deprived of some certain kind of information? We can see all of this obvious data that has just been stated, and the thing is, what are we doing about it? How do we bring Black people to the fore, whereby we're being placed to a certain level of representation? It is very obvious that Black people are being tagged hard to reach. Very obvious that Black people are underrepresented. And that is why the Black Business Community Network would be addressing some of the structural and systemic barriers in the community, and also in the Black and among Black businesses for sustainable development. And just a few objectives we'll be looking at in order for us to drive this vision. First, we would establish collaborative partnership with both private and public sector, statutory sector. We would also establish, partnership with DWP, with health organization, with VCSC organization, and other social enterprise. We would also facilitate, Black community and business empowerment summit. I mean, we've actually structured out a couple of programs which would hold monthly, weekly, and also quarterly, just for empowering Black community, Black businesses, in terms of looking at all this data. How can we address all of this issue? How can we, elevate the Black community? We would also hold programs that is geared towards bringing in statutory bodies, bringing in health sector, bringing in VCSC organization, bringing in DWP to co-designing with the community and co-producing of information and educational programs that would elevate the Black community. We would also promote Black business initiative and sustainable practices. We would also, as much as possible, also involve in collaborative research. If you look at out there, about 28%, that is 1 in 4 person in the university in the United Kingdom as a Black. What are the opportunities out there for this cohort of people? We will look into that and addressing all of the bias and unbiased racism, inequality, fairness, equity. Would do well to address all of this in the course of driving this program. Just a few key strategic focus. We'll be looking at sustainability in environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and also economic and governance. We'll also be looking at community empowerment. How can we empower the vulnerable in our community? How can we empower those who've just, left the university? How can we bring some of this information. It is recorded in terms of crime rates in the UK. I mean, within like the northwest of Manchester, that I mean, there's been a lot of crime rates, and in terms of both immigration, and this is as a result of the lack of information that is being provided to the Black community. We would do well to have series of drop-in, series of programs that would actually create awareness, create some sort of campaign and education for the Black community. We would also look at collaborations with university and in terms of education, in terms of research. How can we influence the next generation of workforce to in order to create a difference, in order to take away, to eradicate this imbalance? So we will cooperate, we will partner with universities to ensure that Black people are being represented both in research, Black people are being represented in case study. This will go forward to in terms of decolonizing the curriculum and how we can empower students to become the next generation of leaders. And how do we intend to go through this? Just a few snapshots of our services. We have about 4 arms of these services, which is one, organization and client assistance program. We have the Black business promotion. We have management consultancy and research and innovation. In terms of management and consultancy, I will just keep the first one, which is organization and client assistance program, which I'll address next. But would also do well to provide support for Black business entrepreneur. We've had like a series of collaborations and partnership, which we would make do with in order to strengthen businesses that are just, coming up. We would also empower Black businesses, Black startup with necessary funding in terms of partnership, connecting them to big businesses, and also some of the government grants that are available, especially for ethnic minorities within the UK. We also do well to showcase Black businesses in terms of strategic marketing, brand promotion, networking opportunities. We would ensure to connect Black businesses with conferences, with programs that create opportunity for them to collaborate, for them to partner, and for them to network in the space of businesses. And also looking at the organization and client assistance program, you will agree with me that in the UK, most of the organization in terms of workforce are pretty much not diverse. And in terms of coming down to research and innovation, we'll find out that going out in terms of like of survey, we find out that Black people are very much underrepresented. Now, this organization and client assistance program will provide a training or a training and a workshop where we would train organizations on how to manage their staff, address some of those issues like race inequality, address issues like language barrier, address issues like how do you manage Black employees within the organization? How can we reach out to Black employees? How can we ensure that there is equality, there is fairness within our workspaces? And that's what the organization and client assistance program will do. And also, like I mentioned, in terms of research and innovation in sustainability, we want a system whereby Black people are also represented in research. Black people are also represented in technology and innovation, both in health and both in across every phase of sustainability. We've come up with just a couple of programs that we would drive the sector with, and we have the Black Business and Career Development Program. We have the Black Business and Community Empowerment Summit. We have the Black Community and Sustainability Program. Just a little elaboration on this. The Black Business and Career Development Program would be a monthly program which will be sent across monthly, presented to us in area that would address skill and career development, and would also the employment and skill support, management training, financial management, business startup. We would invite professionals in this field, professionals in management, professionals in project management, professionals in IT, professionals in education, and other aspects, skill management. Quite a number of people who've just graduated, among the Black community are complacent, settling for less. But this is as a result of the information that have been provided for them. We will do well to partner with this organization to ensure that Black people, Black community have the required information that helps them to thrive. And also the Black Community Sustainability Program, which will also hold once in a month, would cover carbon literacy training. This is a program that actually it's geared towards the Black community to live sustainably. And it will cover utility management. We've been having like quite some conversation with some VCSA organizations that deals with utility, like the United Utility in the UK Northwest, housing matters. We've had conversation with One Merchant Star in terms of housing. We can take back from the data that Black people are disproportionately affected and live in the most deprived areas here in the UK. And also in terms of debt management, we've had conversation with IE Hub, who subsequently within the year will be providing us with a platform whereby Black people can be able to manage their finances and be able to alleviate themselves from debt. And also looking at the surge in cost of living crisis still thriving, we would provide means whereby there will be individual grants, individual funding, and ways of support to be able to equip the Black community in this period of cost of living crisis. Also to mention that we would co-produce and co-design with organization, and this would be under the Black Business and Community Empowerment Summit, where we'll have organizations come together to identify the problems, to co-design and co-produce, and to share solution and have collaborative partnership. And this will be quarterly. This will be for majorly organizations, majorly statutory bodies, which cover both immigration, cover both the police force. This will cover all of those organizations that has to do with the plight of the Black community. How can we identify this problem? How can we co-design and co-produce? How can we work in the interest of the ethnic minority within the UK? And how can we collaboratively support? Like I mentioned before, our partnership in terms of VCSA organization, that's voluntary sector, community sector, and social enterprise. We would also partner with research institutions and universities. We've had conversation with University of Bolton, and we are quite working out something else in order to incorporate the surge in Black people getting into the UK, getting out with fantastic results, and ending up with almost nothing in terms of employment. We would also partner with technology and innovation companies, management training providers, which will also help in terms of facilitating the Black Business Skills and Development Career Program we will be holding monthly. And the VCSC organization would cover housing, would cover health, would cover employment, would cover finance, would cover utilities. We will work with all of these organizations to provide support for our community. And so in terms of research institution and university, so in terms of research recruitment, we would also be a bridge to connecting organizations, to connecting universities to this community in terms of student placement, in terms of internship, covering the technology and innovation companies, in terms of apprenticeship. About 28% of graduates in the UK do not explore apprenticeship scheme, do not explore placement, and this actually plays some sort of a diminution in how we scale in career progress within the Black community in the UK. And also management training providers who will partner with project management firms, data analytics, business analytics, information technology, to ensure that Black people who are scaling in terms of changing career or who want to scale in their career would be able to have access to all of this information. So who are our communities actually? What are we looking forward to achieve? We want a community that is resilient, that is empowered, that is strong. We want to enhance environmental sustainability. We want to also stimulate local economic growth and promote health and happiness. We want to ensure that the Black community rise from the stage where it is, rise from what has been tagged hard to reach community, rise from being underrepresented to an unprecedented level in the UK. And we hope with all of the conversations we've been having lately with our partnership, existing partnership, and partners who also in the call we will be getting involved with, we were sure that within a short possible time, the Black community will rise within the UK. I'll take reflections, just a few questions and answer because of our time. If you can just pop it in the chat box, and the host will read it out, then we can take that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve, for highlighting all that's in store and what the Black Business Community Network is all about. Thank you. I think this is also a round of applause. Let us know how you feel about what he has said. And I trust we're excited for what the future holds for the Black people. There are a couple of questions we have in the comments. If you've got questions, do all to put in the chat, right? We'll do all to take them as we continue this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve, once again for highlighting all the plans you have in store for the Black people. Mr. Michael, there's a question here for you regarding some of the data you provided concerning the Black people. And I think this is from Joshua Makinde. He says here, what's the population ratio of Black people to whites in the UK? And the next question says, does this data for Black ethnicity, is it same with other ethnic groups in the UK? Mr. Mike, do you want to respond to that quickly?
Okay, thank you very much. And then you can quickly go back to the data slides.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. So I think I'll just quickly go through some key from the 2021 census in the UK. So the Office of National Statistics posted that the total number of total number of population in the UK, it's about 59.6 million. So out of that population, we have about 81%, which are the white. And then we have, for the Blacks, just a minute, just to pull some data up. And the white for the Black and British Caribbeans, it's about 2.4 million. While for Asian ethnicity, it's about 5.4 million out of that. So the gap is there, but what we see consistently is the disparity within the community, and also the lay down within the Black community, and we're trying to see how to balance the numbers. Okay, so we're trying to see how to balance the numbers. But we could say that the populations are there, the gap is there, but we're trying to see how to balance the numbers. But despite this population about, Black and African Caribbeans having about 4.2%, which is 22.4 million, they are yet representing, the representation is very poor in terms of workforce housing, in terms of businesses as well. The results so far, the report has shown that there's a lot of disparity, which are some of the systemic factors, which are also aiding to this disparity.
I mean, thank you very much, Joshua Makinde. I believe that answers your question. Thank you for asking that. I think that's a very important question, just to validate
just to also add to sorry, George.
All right, Steve.
Just to also add to what Mike has said. I mean, if you look at London population about 10 million plus, and look at the proportionality in terms of the Black community about 2005. So that's about 1 in 4 persons in the UK, in London is Black. Looking at the Northwest and looking at Birmingham, looking at Manchester, about 2.5 million in Birmingham, about 2.5 million in also Manchester. 1 in 4 persons is a Black. Looking at these two cities, I mean, Birmingham, cutting across Midlands and cutting across Manchester, you will find that about 28% of the community is ranging between young people between 25 to about 45 age, and which are which are having their post-study in the UK, and you will find out that about 28% of them are actually Black. Majorly in the UK overall, 1 in 4 person is Black. Not to also mention other ethnic minority like the Asians and and the Caribbeans. But if you look at within the UK, the proportion of Black to white is 1 in 4, and yet the significance is very, very low. And I think that's the purpose of this whole platform. And also looking at the disparity, I mean, like I said, isn't it obvious that there's benchmarking? Isn't it obvious that Black people do not even have trust in the system? And what are we doing about it? So that is like the main essence. Josh, I don't know if that's
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Steve, for
yeah.
addressing that question. I also want to appreciate the fact that you brought more light into how you're trying to tackle this problem, right? I also appreciate your your problem first approach to addressing the issues on ground, right? When is asking, what do you consider to be the root cause of this disparity? All right. I would like to shed more light. Mr. Mike, do you want to take that, or?
Yeah, I think one of the root causes for this is a lot of systemic barriers. I think it's one of the systemic barriers is most of the Black communities, most of the Black peoples are immigrant, and a lot of factors around racism, the mindsets, the lack of information, which are also aiding to this as well. And that's why the platform is bringing a lot of information to educate, support. I think the supports are there, but people can't really have access to the support because of the mindset, because of because of the values that are that are really that are affecting the Black communities as well. I think one key thing there's these systemic factors has also aided to increase in marginalization within the Black community, and those are things we're trying to tackle. And that's what the platform is bringing a lot of education, bringing a lot of opportunities, pointing them to those support that are there, the opportunities that are there within the system, which the Black communities are yet to really explore. I think those are one of the systemic factors that are there. We see racism as one of the factors, but we can't just handle racism as the key things, because if people don't do anything about that, and the key thing is enlightenment, being getting the right information, meeting the right people, connecting to the right people who you can get that support from. I just can tell you a quick story about a friend of mine, which just to keep, just for data protection, I won't like to, mention his name on the call. He was working in an organization, and then he was lucky to meet, a Black person like him. And then his mindset was, he had a different mindset of what his career, his aspiration, his future was like. But just meeting and having that connect with that person who was one of the board of directors in the company he was working within the UK, that really changed his mindset. That really, it took him on a different trajectory. His mindset was changed, and he began to see things in a different light. And that really helped him to, come up the ladder in terms of his career, in terms of his aspiration. And right now he's doing perfectly well. He was a source of inspiration to me as well. I met him, but he was inspired by other Black persons like him who had opportunities to work in an organization, and he was one of the board of directors in the organization, and that really changed everything. The network is there, the ability to support each other. I think that's what we're coming with, and those are things that cause a lot of disparity, barriers within the community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. I think one of the things you highlighted is the fact that there is no one-stop place where people can access all the necessary information they need to thrive, and that has been also a major problem or major cause of disparity, right? Thank you. Apart from racism and all of the systemic factors you mentioned, and I believe that's one of the problems we're tackling by introducing this Black community network, where everyone can come together, share information, and share resource, so we can thrive and everyone wins at the end of the day. Thank you very much. We've got a couple of questions here that I would like to address quickly, and I think this goes to Mr. Steve. He says, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Thank you, Tommy. He says, considering the Equality and Diversity Act, do we think businesses and job sectors have been trying their best to include people of all ethnic group. Do we have data and evidence to prove that? Also, what support are available to help the Black community improve and fit into the system? Thank you. Mr. Steve, I think that will go to you. I trust you got a question. Can you kindly, in the next few minutes before we call it a day, just quickly shed light on this?
Right. Thank you very much, George. So I was just looking out for on a piece of project working lately on race equality charter, and then I found out that what is the number, I mean the rate of Black VCs in the UK. I think overall in the UK we just have about 3 black VCs. If we talk about management, if we talk about organization, if we talk about education, you'll find out that it's very, very difficult for a Black person to attain a certain level, even though they deserve that position. If you move over to the side of health, you also find out that Black people are already, given a tag in the sense that, okay, because they have like a higher threshold. For instance, the system that's supposed to work for a white person is different from the system that works for a Black person in the UK. And because the UK is quite diverse, for instance, when one comes, like, let's say, having a conversation, and then he's, tried to, speak, and they acclaim that to being rude, whereas that person is trying to just be assertive. So they are just different factors that actually put the Black community down and shadow them in the confines that they are not being able to thrive across every sector, both in housing. You find out that the Black people are very, very much disproportionately affected. More Black people are living within, the most deprived areas of the community. In terms of racism, I attended a race equality panel with the Greater Manchester Police, and the chief constable, boldly said that Black people are targeted. So in somewhat, I mean, we are second-class citizen or third-class citizen. I mean, but the UK is quite diverse. And in that diversity, I mean, this is just the Black community alone. Like I said, it cut across both the Asian community and every other ethnic minority. And in that event, he said the Black people are targeted. And he boldly said that he doesn't owe an apology for that. And that's maybe because as a result of what has been happening over time. So the system at the moment, it's suppressing the ethnic minority people. Yeah. And by default, this system has been working in this way. Nothing has changed. In terms of education, I did a research on principle for responsible management in education on how Black people, I mean, on how businesses can become the next generation of leaders. And because of decolonizing the curriculum, we find out that there is less diversity in curriculum, there's less diversity in the research, there's less diversity in the use of case study. And also looking across workforce as well, you will find that across different sectors, you have, let's say, within I've attended programs where I am the only Black, conferences where I am the only Black. As a partnership officer, partnership manager in University of Bolton, I work with the assistant vice chancellor. I can say that I am unable to count more than 4 Black across that whole workforce, which shows that the diversity is very, very low. Looking in terms of employment as well, the opportunity that is out there to the Black, to ethnic minority in general is very, very slim, in the sense that opportunities in terms of employment are being considered internally within the staff intranet, and those who will be appointed for the job are already being announced in even before it goes out. Looking in terms of award, I've attended a series of awards whereby Black people are recognized for their hard work, and they were not given that award due to some reason I'm careful not to mention. So by default, Black people are disproportionately affected. Now, the thing is, if the system is like that, what are we doing differently? Are we complacent? A lot of graduates in the UK are settling for care job and are settling for, just being beneath. So the thing is, what are we doing? So within this whole structure, we are trying to be solution driven because this has been for a very long time. It has put Black people in a position whereby they don't trust the system anymore. And because they don't trust the system anymore, the rate of crime is increasing in the sense that rather than a Black person consulting a solicitor or consulting an immigration officer in terms of dealing with the home office, they'd rather go in an illegal way, which leads to crime. So that is because that platform, that information, that education is not there. Because of that, equality, that balance is not there. It has put Black people in a confine where it's difficult for them to thrive in all spheres of lifestyle. So I
Thank you
don't
very
know
much,
if
Mr.
I've been
C.
able to touch a bit of your
Fantastic response, I must say. Now, you've said a lot about the Black community, about what you've got in store. One question I have right now is, how do I get to join? I'm interested. I'm buzzing about what the future holds for me as a Black person. I want to grow. I want to transit. I want to thrive here in the UK. How can I join the community? That's like the big question I have right now. How can I join? How can I be a part of what's going on? Where can I get updates? Where can I find information that would help me become better, and also get more information about the plans and programs you have?
Yeah, I'll just respond to that. Thanks so much, Judge. We've got we've got the website, and the website also has, if you can bring up the website. The website, we have a form on the website as well where you could fill, and then we currently have Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram. We've got a WhatsApp community group where we manage all our community members. And we also got and we're also happy for partnership. We could also send, after this call, we'll send also the link to everyone. And also you can drop the link on the chat as well. So you could go into the website. We've got the form there, and you can fill up the form, pick up your details from there. We can reach to you with those informations. And then also, we're also having the program. We'll keep you informed as well about the upcoming program for this month, which is the Black Business Career and Skill Development. And also, you can see our contact. You could email us by info@bbcn.org.uk, and also you could ring those numbers. We could get to connect with you as well through those numbers. And that's our website on the slide as well.
Oh, I hear there's a WhatsApp community. How can we join the WhatsApp community?
Okay, I think we're going to send that in the group at the moment.
All right. So that's going to be shared and ready for everyone. Please do all to join the community if you haven't. Please do all to join. The link will be put up there in the comments. Before you go, Mr. Steve, there's a question someone or a comment someone made out. I think I would like you to address. Right, this is also from Joshua. He mentioned that he said 1 in 4 people in the UK are Black, right? And he says here that it means that the Black community are not also adopting the business or service provided by Black people. So the orientation and the campaign of BBCN should also target Black communities as much as other regulators and communities. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you, George. Thank you, Joshua, for that nudge. I mean, like I mentioned, the system is already what it is, and we're trying as much as possible in order to support the Black community. As much as, I mean, there are platforms which Black people can actually climb up to, but another thing there is, like I said, there is bias and unbiased racism and all that, which also deter this cohort of people in transiting or exploring those opportunities. Yeah, I mean, taking your reflection on board, we've been having some conversation with some of our key partners, and to be honest with you, I can vividly, vehemently say that we are making a very, very huge progress. I mean, it's all begin with a start, and we're trying as much as possible to bring the required information, to bring the required opportunity to bring the required in terms of funding to Black community, and we're working very, very hard in order for us to create this platform, to thrive on this platform till Black people get to a position where they can thrive, where they can also get support. I mean, it's clear that it seems like Black people are not, exploring this opportunity, but at the same time, it's also the information you have. You agree with me that here in the UK, the information you have determines what you become. So as much as possible, one of what we will want to try to also, work on is to get more information towards the Black community. And that is why we're having all of this series of monthly programs, co-designing, co-production, for us to see what are the problem, what are the problem, what are the solution, how can we partner together. It's all it's all a solution in sequence. And we're hoping with your support, with some of the partner support, which we've actually been in touch with, definitely there is going to be progress.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. Won't be taking any more question. Thank you everyone for joining. Oh, great. Someone's asking, will the recordings be shared? Please, not to worry. We'll share with you all the information you need. Do all to join the community. We'll put a link to join the community right here on the chat. And if you've not visited the website, I think that's one easy route. Just visit bbcn.org.uk, bbcn.org.uk. Can you do that right now, right? So you can get as many information as you want. All the information you need is right there. You can also follow us on our social media handle at bbcn_UK. You can look us on Instagram. We're providing updates, information that you need on our social media handle. Once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining in today's session. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, Alex. Thank you all for joining. I trust it's been value for your time. There's a lot in store for us as Black people. All right. Like I tell people, we believe that talent is even distributed, but opportunities aren't. All right. So how do we assess most of this opportunity? So do all to join the community. And we'll be sharing the link to the WhatsApp community right there in the channel, right? So you can have access to it and you can easily join in. But if you're here to follow us on Instagram, kindly do well to do so. Here to visit the website, kindly do well to visit the website. Just to make it easy for us, right? I'll just share the link to the community in the channel so we all can, or the group rather, so we all can access it. I'll just put it right there. And great. We would like to get feedback from you. We'd like to know what you think about what's all that's going on at the Black Business Community Network. There's a link right there. We would like you to kindly click on it and provide feedback, all right, regarding what you think. We also want to get ideas, right? We don't know. We don't want to hear from you what you think we could do to make this platform better, and also some ideas or initiatives we think we could develop or come up with, right? Remember, it's a community. Everyone contributes, right? Everyone contributes to this. We'll call it a wrap at this point. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is George, once again, your host. We'll call it a wrap right now. Do follow us on our social media handle. And if you've not joined the WhatsApp group, kindly do well to join. Have a great day. Bye.